Welcome everyone to our weekly Facebook live show, Life Buildup, where we discuss your success, fulfillment, and balance. I'm your host Jawad, here with Hassan.
What's up, guys?
Just came back from north or south?
I came from South Carolina.
South Carolina. How's the trip?
Good. I actually just landed and drove here real fast. And now we're here.
Yeah, good to have you, man. We're thinking that we're gonna have to have the show just like last week, where he was in last week we were in Dallas, right?
Yes, Dallas.
Last week
that was from Houston. I was in Dallas, but then I was in Houston by the time that we had the show.
Yeah, so I was in New York City and he was in Houston. We thought we might have to do something similar this week, but
I made it.
Yeah, glad you're here, bro. Anyways, guys, this week we're talking about how do you stop dumb arguments. Sometimes we have the dumbest arguments with our friends. For example, let's say if you have a business partner and you guys start arguing about how much you guys did in sales last month. Like, there's no point in arguing about that. It's facts, If you look into your numbers and see like how many people bought from you for what price, and like you could run all your numbers, you'll get to figure out like what the actual sales number is, or how much you profited, right? So no point in arguing about that. So we're going to talk about like, all these scenarios that come up where we have the dumbest arguments with our friends, with our family members, with coworkers, business partners, and see how do you actually stop them. So we've got an exciting episode for you. If you're joining us, guys, if you could please do me a favor and hit like on the video, share the video so that more people can join in. Really appreciate it.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm so glad that you all can, be together. Again, if you're here right now, just take a few seconds and just share the show. Just hit that share button, and you will be a cause for someone else to be empowered, someone else to be, also get some benefit out of, what we are discussing and addressing here. So, this is the weekly show every Monday night, and we discuss some difficult stuff and some opportunities that we have in our businesses, in our careers, in our relationships. And today we're talking about dumb arguments. We have some dumb arguments, and dumb arguments leads to people fighting, relationships ending. Dumb arguments lead to conflicts where good friends stop talking to each other for years just because it was actually a completely dumb argument. And I'm calling it dumb because literally if you were to argue about something that really mattered, like you're arguing because you have an opinion, the other person has an opinion, and you both care about it, and then you both have your arguments about it, and the impact of that argument will result to something that's significant. That makes sense, argue about it, fight about it. I understand that, but the arguments I'm talking about right now are some really dumb arguments, and these dumb arguments are just causing chaos in relationships, at work, and at home, and so we need to stop dumb arguments.
Absolutely, guys. I'm just sharing the show a little bit as you guys are joining in.
Yeah.
If you guys have any experience of in this scenario of having dumb arguments with family members, friends, and so forth, and you want to know how to avoid them and stuff, or share an experience that you had, feel free to put in the comments.
Yeah, people to comment. I'm going to tell you, four.
Yeah, four.
I'm going to tell you 4 dumb arguments. Okay. These are 4 category of dumb arguments that we have, okay? If you can get them, if you can learn them, if you can keep them in your mind, you'll be able to avoid them. So I'm going to talk about 4, but if you have a personal experience about a particular dumb argument or a type of dumb argument, feel free to share, and I will try to, piggyback off of that as well.
Yeah. And I'll be looking in the comments, guys, so whatever you comment, I'll be looking at it.
And if you're here, 2 things, guys. Share the show as we're getting started, and number 2, definitely go and like our Life Buildup page. Where we will be eventually doing this show from. So We're excited to have all of you. So let's get right into it.
Yeah, sure. Okay, what's the first one?
So the first dumb argument is what we call hypothetical arguments. So these are like stuff that did not even happen yet, and you guys talk about...
It's like daydreaming about, okay, what can happen in the future, and then having an argument about that.
It's crazy. So, you will have like a couple, right, that just got married, don't even have kids yet. And they argue about we put our kids in private school or public school. They just live in an apartment, and they don't even have the money for a house yet. And they pass by a neighborhood.
They go, I want this house for that.
We should get a place in this neighborhood. No, why would we get it here? And then, oh my God, this is getting into a fight. And like, dude, you don't even plan to buy a house in the next 5 years. If it didn't happen yet, let it go.
Because the circumstances and everything are going to be so different,
right.
later on.
And connected to this is sometimes people get frustrated that, say I'm talking with you, right? And I tell you, okay, next month when we go on this trip, I want you to do this. So it's such a far away. And you go, no, I will never do that over there. No. And then we get into argument about that, right? I feel like as if you're gonna do it already. Like, wait till it happens, then I can, when that
Too soon. Too soon to
sometimes,
talk about this.
especially like parents do this, right? So like their kids like, no, when I do that, I'm not gonna do that. Whatever, I'm not gonna listen. And I'm like, it didn't happen yet. Wait till school tomorrow. Like it didn't happen yet, so don't argue about it.
But what about like planning? Well, what if somebody says that but we need to talk about this so that like we have a plan for it?
But some people like discuss every detail. So when we go on that trip, are you gonna be doing this? Or that if when we do have a business and when we do hire our first employee, are we gonna do this way? Like, okay, those are so many ifs and so many like future hypothetical that really you are wasting a lot of time. So my point being, you need to stop arguing about things that does not happen or did not happen yet, and especially if it's not relevant at the moment. So again, like on the point of like planning and so forth, right? Yeah.
Like, so let's say like two friends are having a conversation about their trip, as you mentioned, right? Like even bringing it up, okay, sometimes is like the first part to like actually having the trip,
right?
So how do you how do you like at the same time talk about the trip, but don't like fall into like talking about pointless stuff?
Good. So that we're gonna get to towards the later part of the show where we talk about how to have good arguments.
Okay.
So I want you to fight good, but not dumb.
Right.
Dumb is you're not getting anything out of it, and you're losing relationships, or you're making it toxic at your work, toxic at your business, toxic at your community center, whatever. You're making it worse.
All right,
so that's the first one.
So the first one is avoid dumb arguments. Avoid hypothetical dumb arguments.
Right.
So whenever you guys are talking with your business partner, friends, family members, whatever, like when it's something very very far away and it's hypothetical, don't make a big deal out of it.
Right.
So
if it's hypothetical, it didn't happen yet. Sometimes you gotta wait.
Yeah.
People who make a lot of big noises and they talk a lot. Really wise people, they fight the fight when it's time to fight.
Right.
So the best way to put this is like, imagine your argument is like your war, right? You could be like, my army is going to take over your army, and you could talk big and all that. Really wise, generals, they wait. They wait, and they strike when it's needed. Now, I don't want you to...
I think another way to apply this would be like, in business, like, if you and your business partner, okay, are talking and you have an idea, and you kind of like, talk about what's going to happen a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, okay, when, you haven't even started anything. Right? So... do you think that's a good example?
Yeah. I mean, in that case, again, sometimes there's planning involved. If it's planning involved, we'll get to, because if you need to talk about it, how do you actually talk about it and have a good fight and good argument?
So we're going to talk about how we actually have a good productive discussion.
Yeah. So number one is avoid hypothetical.
All right. As we move on to the second dumb argument, those of you guys who are joining us, first of all, thank you so much for giving us your time. Really appreciate it. Please do us a favor.
And making us part of your life every Monday night.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And please do us a favor, and if you could share the show, drop a like on the video. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.
So number two. The number two dumb argument is, when you argue about something that you don't have opinion about. What I mean, it's called, some communication experts call it post whatever argument. So like somebody says something and you go, yeah, whatever, do whatever you guys want, and then you have a comment about it.
Right.
So initially you had no input. So at your workplace, they implement a new policy and they ask for input from all the managers or all the whatever. And you're like, yeah, I don't want to comment on that. Let them do whatever they want to do.
Right.
But then once it's implemented,
you stay quiet.
You stay quiet, right? Once it's implemented, then all of a sudden you have an opinion. Like, what happened to you yesterday, right? Or
you lost your right to have an opinion.
If you said whatever, absolutely. If you said whatever, you lost your right.
Right.
So I'll give you a more cheesy example. Cheesy pizza. So imagine that in a family, like, okay, let's get dinner. And so you send your older brother, like, okay, get something. And they're like, so what do you guys want? You're like, yeah, whatever, get something, whatever.
Right.
And he goes and gets Chinese food. You're like, and then you come back like, yo, why you get Chinese food? I don't like Chinese food. Like, no, you can't say that. Right? That's a bit cheesy example, but take that at a corporate level. take that at a community level, take that at your relationship level. We are doing that.
Right.
Where we don't have a comment about something, or like, oh, let's go eat somewhere. Whatever, you choose. But when you say you choose, you have to really mean it. It's not you choose what I like.
Right.
Like, what is that? Like, you should know my mind.
What if the person who makes the decision though,
right,
like you kind of have like some kind of trust that, okay, you know what,
right,
these guys are going to make a good decision. Okay.
What is good decision? My decision, or good based on their?
Right.
Because if you did not give an opinion, if you did not have any input, then don't expect that it has to be what you like.
So you're taking that risk of a bad outcome or
right,
bad decision,
and so you cannot argue about that afterwards.
Right. Okay.
So if you didn't make an opinion, don't argue about it afterwards. So you can. It's called post whatever argument. That's number 2.
Okay, sounds good. What's the third one?
So the third one is called post argument argument. So some communication experts call it post argument argument. What that is that you argued about something, and then the other person, like, you won the argument, right? So you argued about something, you won the argument, or whatever. There was some kind of negotiation, which is better, and you came to some terms. But then, like, after lunch, you're bringing the subject again.
The argument is over.
No, it's not over. Meaning the other person didn't quite fully agree with you, but they agreed on the terms. So then leave it. You have to fully convince them of your whole mindset. People do that.
So like rub it in almost.
Rub it in and almost like, see, like, I not only want you to, negotiate with me and agree on my terms, but I want you to, really think that my thought process is actually your thought process. Like, I want my thought process to be your thought process.
So you don't draw the line as far as like what's your you don't draw the line as far as, okay, he got the point.
Right.
We agreed on something.
More than that, which we'll get to in a second, more than that, the result is happening. What we want out of this whole conversation is happening. Right? So it might not be my way or my style, or he might or she might not even look at it the same way, but they don't have to look at it the same way. I mean, people do this all the time in meetings, right? So especially people who lead meetings, they come in here and half an hour they give a whole lecture about like how they they were at their grandma's place and they saw something in the stars, and that's how, I'm exaggerating, but and that's how they came with this opinion about the policy.
Right.
No one needs to know that.
Yeah.
Say the policy, say what the positives and negatives are, and how that would benefit. Then
what is this argument called?
This is called post argument argument.
Post argument argument. So basically, after the after some kind of decision has been made,
right,
you still bring it up.
You still bring it up, or you still like you still going on about it. Like you in the restaurant, you argued about something. You get in the car and you bring in more evidence about it. So you argued about something, and the person, okay, all right, fine, that makes sense. Okay, I will do it. Get in the car and like, I remember. Oh, by the way, also my car, and you add in more. Now
the decision already been made.
Right.
Okay.
And now I know why you're doing it. You're doing it because you're hoping that you put more ability, emphasis, but is that, because then what happens? Then they get into a fight, and then the whole decision changes in the car. Like, forget it, I'm not going to do it even.
Guys, as you're listening in, if you have any experience, of like this kind of arguments happening, please share it with us in the comments.
Right.
I'm looking at the comments over here. I see some of you guys already putting comments. So thank you. I think Husnaira, thank you for putting your comments. So if you guys have any kind of example of this happening in your own life, feel free to share with us.
Sure, yeah, and I think we'll take your example and we'll try to elaborate a little more, and it will be really helpful. So we really want you to engage here, and I think we'll get more out of this conversation. So that's dumb argument number 3.
Yeah. Okay, and just before you continue, so Husnaira said, fight and argument is like fire.
Right.
It burns the main purpose of the discussion.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's actually a discussion that we're going to be having, in the show.
About anger, right?
I mean, no. I mean, not in another episode. I mean, like even in this episode. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
The point that she's making is that it burns the main purpose of the discussion.
Right.
You forget the result, that you want to achieve from actually having the discussion.
But hold on to your hats. Coming in 5 seconds. Yeah. Okay.
All right. What's the fourth one?
So the fourth one is also classic. You'll understand this very well. It's called arguing about facts. You argue about facts.
Yeah, I think in the beginning what we opened up with was that, let's say you have a business partner and you guys argue about the numbers.
Right.
You can't argue about numbers. If you ask yourself, okay, what was our company's profits last month? Okay, or what was our sales last month? You just look at last month and see what your numbers were.
Right.
There's no argument about that.
I mean, people argue about like getting to a destination, right? They're like, I was there last week. It's only like 30 miles from here. No, what do you mean? I've been living here. I know it's like 20 miles. I'm like, yo, dude, just Google map it. Why are you arguing about it? Or player stats, like stats. So you while watching a game. No, he's at 300. And like, why are you arguing about it? Just go to ESPN, find that damn thing. Like, people just actually really like riled up, and they're arguing about facts.
Right.
Like, why would you do that? You Google the damn thing.
Yeah.
So sometimes we argue about facts, meaning we argue about things that you can actually Google. Like, it's yes or no. Now, I know there's a whole new thing now in politics called alternative facts, right? So I'm not going to get political here, but, if you have alternative facts about something,
that's another discussion for another time. But the point is, guys, don't argue about facts. Right. When something is a fact, there's no point of going back and forth about it. It's a waste of time.
Right. Now, and if there's argument, then it's not a fact. Then there is an opinion, or it's a analysis which can be different for different people.
Yeah. I think so. We covered the 4 different arguments. So number 1 was.
Number 1,
hypothetical.
Hypothetical, yes.
So whenever we, something is very, very far away,
right,
and we bring that up and start talking about it.
Okay? Like we argue about hypothetical scenarios.
Yeah.
Right. First example, we're at this is a while back. We're with some friends, and we're with some friends of ours, and we argued about the word friend for literally 4 hours. Right, literally 4 hours. We had an arbitrary argument about what the word friend means.
Right.
Like literally, they're like serious guys. We're like some of us were in college, some was like young professional working. We really sat down at like 2 o'clock at night.
What it means to be a friend?
And like, someone's like, no, friends mean, in this day and age, friends can have broad definition. Or like, no, what does it mean? If I'm going to call someone a friend, I don't know what it means for a Facebook friend.
But don't you think like at some point, like when people are just hanging out, okay, they can have those discussions?
No. I know. So you could have that. It's like, and some people do it when they're high. But I mean, no, but that's a different story. I'm talking about like, that's an example of, now in that context, it's probably just us, our friends chilling, But if we did that in a real life, and I'm exaggerating, then that would be...
I think the examples that you gave, like, when we were talking about this was like very good.
Right.
For example, a married couple, they start talking about like, the type of house they want to have.
Right.
Or like,
And while they're passing by the neighborhood, they're pissed off at each other. Yeah. I don't want to be here. What would we get houses? The school district is better. And you're arguing about like, you haven't even have the money yet for the next 5 years to buy a house. Right?
So you have no plans of buying.
But like no. What if he? Because I know he's planning this because he wants to move close to his parents and not close to my parents. You're gonna move in next 5 years. How do you know his opinion might not change in 5 years?
Right.
What are the circumstances?
5 years is a long time, guys.
Long time, yeah.
It's a long time.
Right.
The circumstances and like
he's
situations.
He's planning. He's gonna definitely move too close to his parents, and he doesn't want to be next to his in-laws, and so I'm gonna be far from my family. And because you have all this hypothetical in your mind, wait for it. Wait for it. I mean, as it go close to year 2, year 3, maybe you can then have a negotiation, which we're going to get to in a second.
Right. Because we have so much to cover on the show.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just run through the other 3 that we talked about. So number 1 was hypothetical,
yes,
which I just said right now.
That's number 1.
Number 2 was?
Number 2 is, when you don't have an opinion about something, post whatever argument we call it. So when you don't have an opinion about something, then you have all of a sudden you have an opinion.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And number 3?
Number 3 is post argument. So argument about something that you already argued about and it's done. Then you open the can again tomorrow because you're pissed off about it.
So after the decision has been made, you open it up again. And number 4 that we just covered right now is arguing about facts. If you're just joining in, you didn't hear the discussion, feel free to go back in the video after the video is done, and you can watch the show.
And we are on
iTunes. Yeah.
So there are folks that have been, I think, listening to us. So we really appreciate, I don't know, maybe not the folks who are on the live show.
Yeah, if you listen to podcasts, guys, when you're working out, you're going to work, commuting and so forth, feel free to go on iTunes, look us up, Life Buildup, it'll come up.
And for all the folks who are listening, because we've been getting viewers, we're actually quite surprised people actually find us on iTunes. But for those of you listening, and you're probably listening now, on the audio iTunes, thank you. I appreciate
Yeah,
the love.
guys, thank you.
Appreciate the support. And we hope that we're making some, impact in your life.
Yeah.
So let's get right to it.
So how do you actually now have good arguments, like in a good discussion? I don't know if you want to call it argument, but argument sounds like it's a negative thing. How do you stop your dumb arguments and actually have a productive discussion, a productive conversation?
Right. I think we got a new from Ashek. I think he said, "Is there such thing as a post-argument? Argument. Oh Lord, yeah. Let's call that perpetual argument. Let's call that argument diarrhea.
That's what it never ends.
Right.
It keeps on going.
Right. Yeah. So there's too much. So anyways. All
right. So how do you actually have good argument? Yeah. What is the solution?
So number one is focusing on the result that you want. Okay. So in an argument, I think someone has commented.
It was Hosnari, who commented that. Healthy discussion is good. So fight and argument is like fire. It burns the main purpose of the discussion.
That's it. Main purpose of the discussion. So, argument. The first thing you want to do is figure out what in the world do you want out of this conversation.
Right.
Right. So I have seen college age kids talking with their parents about college, right? So they get into arguing about college because they want to go to out of state school. The parent don't want to send them out of school, out of state. Now the reason why then they argue about where's the better stats and the tuition fee and they go on and on.
And they forget the result.
And all of a sudden, after half an hour into the conversation, all of a sudden talking about you don't do anything in the house, you always staying out with your friends. Where did friends and that come into and then the kid is trying to prove no, I don't stay out like that. I know what I mean. You whole conversation. You went to
somewhere.
As they say, it got serious real quick. Right? You don't need to happen. You say, so what should I do? If your parents start to bring up other irrelevant matters where you might have some flaws, you can just zip your mouth and redirect. Okay, yeah, you're right. I just showed up late yesterday. We could talk about that. So about the college. So you keep
bring the discussion back.
Yeah. And this happens in meetings. I mean, in corporate meetings. People start talking they're having a meeting, and all of a sudden, this completely irrelevant topic. The agenda is set. This is what we're going to discuss. We're discussing our marketing strategy, and people have arguments about it. Right? They have different opinions. But then all of a sudden, the talk is about some procedure. This is not the time. Focus on the goal. So because what happens is, look. It's like a fire, and this is why it's like a fire, because when you're arguing, obviously you're heated up, you're angry, and because you're angry, your brain's not functioning. And if your brain is not functioning, then you are subhuman, you're half human, because literally, I think we're going to talk about anger
I mean, we talked about anger already.
We talked about anger, and we're going to talk more about it. What episode was that?
5 or 6.
Okay.
You guys can find it on his page.
Right.
That was how to. I forgot the episode name too. I think it's how to avoid.
I think it's called Psychology of Anger.
Psychology of Anger. That was it.
I forgot the episode, but you guys can find it. Check it out. It's on iTunes as well. So we talked about that, and we said that you become subhuman, right? So you get so heated up because what is argument? You're now heated up. That's the worst time to have a conversation. You got to be in a cool place to have a conversation, right? So focus on the goal. Focus on the goal. And what stops us from focusing on the goal are two things. Number one,
you wanna expand on that a little bit more,
sure,
what it means, to actually focus on the goal and the result that you want.
Okay, so in a conversation, you want to know what the result it is that one. So what is the result that the kid wants? That he wants to go to out-of-state college. He wants to convince his parents about that. What do the parents want? Parents wants to worry about
Make sure the safety and so forth.
And so
if the kid actually knew and the parents knew, okay, what exactly is the result that they both want?
Right.
Okay, then they can talk about, for example, let's say the parents say that, okay, then you need to make sure that you stay within the campus.
Right.
Okay, you don't stay outside the campus.
The
kid says so you bring up different points that's going to give the other person the result that they want.
If the parents are for out-of-state college and the kid wants to go out of state, then help them list out negative and positive. But don't get into argument about your car. Don't get into argument about your friends hanging out late. like, just shift the conversation back to what the argument is. You can fight about that friend stuff on a different night.
But so focus on the result that you want, okay, out of the conversation, instead of like, I think a lot of times people like, also they get hung up on a point and they want to prove themselves.
I'll tell you, I have people that reach out to me. My parents not accepting my interracial relationship. Or someone wants to get married with somebody who's from a different culture, right? So, and they tell me that me and my father and me and my family are getting to fight about this because they don't want to accept anybody from a different culture. And basically, so what is the result that they want? The result they want is the acceptance of the person that they chose for their life, right? This is the partner that they chose for their life. They want acceptance. But, they had, I find out later on, they had a half an hour argument about you're racist. Like, convincing your father that
telling him racism is not gonna help.
Or what is racism, what is not racism, and getting into Black Lives Matter even, so, it's not gonna help you for the fact that you're someone who is Southeast Asian and wants to be with someone who is African American, and you trying to convince your dad about Black Lives Matter is not gonna really help you. Right? That is maybe important, but for a separate time. Right? Discuss and negotiate this family's acceptance of the person that you chose as a partner in your life. Worry about that. So that's So what we. So
for that person, like they need to think about what is it that I can tell my dad that's going to make him accept this.
They say pick your battle. You can't fight all the battles.
Right.
You have when you're in a conversation, I have to pick my battle. So I have to choose what to comment on.
So what to give up and what to
fight over. In a conversation, we pick on every little thing. Yeah. We want to pick on every single conversation. You can't do that.
Right.
Like you're gonna go nuts. You have to say I'm gonna worry about this.
Right.
Even your kid brings a bunch of stuff that's going on in school. You got to pick on 1, 2, 3 things that you want to focus on. So worry about the result. That's the first key goal. Worry about the result.
Always have that in the back of your head.
Yeah, and 2 things that's gonna stop you from being focused on the result that you want is wanting to win. Look, we all want to win, right? So you show up as a kindergartner and you learn that you have to win. Right? The society is programmed about winning. Like winning means success, which is not true always, by the way. So in an argument, instead of getting what you want, you try to win. Sometimes you could lose an argument but get your result.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You could lose an argument
because you're after the result. You're not after winning.
Yeah.
Right?
You're after convincing them to go with you tomorrow.
Right. As long as they go with you tomorrow, you won. You don't have to win the argument.
No. You have to let go of that emotional satisfaction that you want to have.
Right.
You have to cope with that and say, look, emotional satisfaction would have been nice, but he's gonna go with me tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
I got my result.
Yeah. Right.
So don't worry about winning the argument.
Right.
Okay, just worry about whether you're getting the result or not.
Exactly.
So yeah.
And that's what's important. So politicians know this very well, right? They go into like town hall, and they might not win an argument, but because the voter felt heard, they get the vote.
Right.
And they're like, I'll take the beating.
Because that's their result. They're trying to get their vote. That's it.
That's all they're on.
Yeah.
So I said, I'll take the beating.
Yeah.
But, I got what I wanted. You got to be strategic about this. Very strategic about this. And so
don't go for wins, okay? Go for the result that you want.
What are you going to get out of winning an argument?
Right.
Like, what do you get? Can I,
satisfaction. Really, that's the only thing that you get.
Somebody gives you a tick mark? You get a cookie? Like, no, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
So number 2 is wanting to win, and number 2 is seeking revenge. That stops you from getting result. So you want to make someone hurt. Right? You're worried about you want revenge because last time they did whatever they did. So, but through argument, you want to you want to really hammer on them. That's not going to help you. You think you hammer somebody and they're going to come around and be all nice to you? Really, like some people really expect they're going to hammer somebody, and then that person is going to come around and follow their lead.
Only thing this is doing is just feeding your ego even more.
Right.
It's not getting the things that he mentioned is that the goal is to get the result.
Right.
And you worrying about I gotta win the argument.
Right.
You worrying about I gotta get revenge from last time that this guy did me dirty.
Right.
All this stuff is going to stop you from getting your result.
Right. So say the wife is pissed off at the husband. And she wants she wants to bring up a whole list so the husband can suffer, right? But then you think you hammering like that, he's going to really turn around tomorrow, and then all of a sudden it start to be more complimentary because he's not as complimentary, he's not as verbal in his expression of love. You think you hammer somebody, then they actually do that. It's a very illogical thinking. People feel encouraged when you give them encouragement. You point out what mistake they're doing, no problem. But you don't hammer somebody, then they're going to come out and love you, right? So that's not how it works. Right. So those two things really stops us from really focusing on the result, that we want. Yeah.
So we know what not to focus on, right?
Okay.
So don't focus on winning.
Right.
Okay. Don't focus on feeding your ego and all that.
Right.
So instead of that, okay, focus on the result. Is there anything else that they should be focusing on?
So you want to focus on, three things, right? So you want to focus on three things underneath this umbrella called understand the person. So if you want to, negotiate and you want to have a good discussion, what you want to do is you want to understand the person's side first. You might disagree with the person, but understand their side. So number one, worry about, what do you guys do agree on? So in an argument, it's not, you on opposite end 100%. Really, I mean, in most arguments, there's something that you both do agree on. So get that on the table first. Okay, you know what? Okay, we're arguing.
So come to a common ground.
Yeah.
So that you know what, we do agree on something.
Something. Right. Because when your brain finds a mutual goal, then the brain enacts is compassionate circuits. What I mean in English is that if you have a common goal, you're more likely to find and negotiate and through care and love and find good solution. But so you got to find okay, we both actually want this, it seems like. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to come to an agreement first. So okay, what is it that we do agree on? We disagree on everything, right? And I'll tell you, I was just at a community, and there were some conflicts between two community centers, and my goal was to find what they do agree on. And there's both two community centers and two communities that really argue about each other. They do agree on youth and youth work. I said, great. You both want to.
There's a common ground.
You both want to beat each other up, but you guys agree on youth. So let's focus on that. Let's get you what you do agree on. Right. So what you agree on, number two, then build on that. Okay, so I agree on this, you agree on that. Okay, so what is it that you have different? What is it I have different? And then share and be willing to change your mindset. You might not be 100%. You might be arguing for something.
So be open to actually
changing your opinion.
Changing your opinion.
Be humble enough. Be humble enough that after you had an argument for 15 minutes, then you realize, damn, I think I was kind of wrong. But because you're in that heated moment, you're like, no, I'm not gonna say that. I see your point.
Right.
If you want the result, you have to be willing to be humble enough.
Right.
So sometimes say, I know I was arguing about it for the last 15 minutes, but I think
I think throughout all of this, keeping the result in the back of your head is so important.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have that,
right.
None of this stuff really matters.
Right.
Because you're just having conversation, for sake of having conversation, and feeding your ego, and just winning arguments,
right.
Okay, and making yourself feel better.
Right.
You always have to have the result in the back of your head.
You're not on debate team.
Yeah.
In your house, there's no debate team with judges.
Right.
What is wrong with you? There's no judges there, right? It's just family, it's just same team, company, same. In an organization.
That actually helped me out so much.
Right.
Okay, just that idea of coming to that mutual purpose.
Right.
When you point out that hey, listen, we're in the same team here.
Right.
We're both trying to achieve good.
Right.
We're not against each other.
Right.
It puts you in a completely different mindset.
Yeah. And that gets us to our closing part of our show tonight, and that is how do you negotiate with love and respect, right? So negotiating in a crooked business, negotiating in a con artist business is different from healthy negotiation. So when you negotiate in a con business, you try to avoid telling all the whole story. Use like a car salesman. Now, if you're a car salesman, don't get offended now. I do respect a lot of car salesmen. But sometimes you're slimy.
Shout out to Jamil. I don't know if he deserves that sort of shout out.
Right, that's true. He's a good friend of ours. So you don't be slimy about this, right? So the point is when you're negotiating, is different from negotiating with love and respect. You slimy, you try to win at whatever cost. That's not what you want to do. It has to be win-win.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's not win-win, for example, you know, you want to talk to your brother about something, and you know that if he's tired and you talk to him, he's gonna be like, whatever. But he's not gonna stick with it. So you wait till he's tired, then you know put him in that spot. Don't make that kind of fuzzy game like that, because you're not gonna get the result. You're gonna end up with hard feelings, ill feelings. That's gonna affect you later on. You know, so
I mean that's the best situation, right? Like a win-win. Okay, where you know both party gets what they want.
So in negotiating with love and respect, number one, you have to have no sucker choice. Sucker choice means okay. I guess that last time I took it, so this time you take it. That's not necessarily healthiest, right? Number two, you gotta tell it like it is. So in a negotiation that's full of love and respect, you cannot hide stuff. You cannot hide stuff. You know
you gotta be transparent.
You gotta be transparent. You gotta be honest, even if it's against yourself. If it's against yourself. You know, even if it's against someone that you don't like. Like sometimes when we like someone, we're willing to hide stuff. You know, but you gotta be a genuine person.
So I know you brought up the car salesman thing, right?
Yeah.
So in sales, okay,
Right.
I think is that even possible? That you don't hide anything and you're like fully transparent with the person?
Well, I think you could be ethical. So you could make you could motivate. You could say, you know what, these are the benefits, and you really point out the benefits and so forth. But hiding would be not telling them that there's an engine problem. You know, and that's actually illegal in some places and unethical, anyways.
Right.
But that's the stuff I'm talking about. But no, if you focus on the shiny parts of it, that's selling.
Right.
That's selling. So tell like it is. Number three. Don't make judge and jury. Even husband and wife, say they're having a dinner with other friend and family came over for dinner, and they argue about something. They get other people involved, right? Is that right? Like or they want to point out in front of other people that I was right. So you get third part. No, I'm right because I could tell you. Let's call him up. I'll show you. Like me and you are talking and arguing about something,
right?
And I'm saying, you know what? You don't believe me? Let's call him up. Don't get a third party involved. And you might think like, oh wait, that's normal. People do that usually. That's not healthy. I'm telling you, that's not healthy.
I was just gonna tell you that. Okay, yeah. Isn't that a healthy thing?
No,
like in
not.
the sense that, like for example, let's say you bring somebody else into the discussion,
right?
And they kind of serve as the mediator.
Yes. If you bring in Google to check your facts, good. If you bring a arbitrator to negotiate between you two, good. I'm talking about where I say I have my pops, who's gonna tell you that I'm right.
So basically, you bring in somebody that's within your side.
Exactly.
Okay,
into a negotiation, and that's just forcing your hand, and that's not nice in a family negotiation. It's not nice within friends. You could do that in business, but not good for love relationships.
Okay.
And number four, and that's we close up the night with this. You have to find creative solutions. You can't get stuck. Be like, oh no, the best thing I tell you. Okay, you and your other friend, or you and your colleague, or you and your spouse argue about something, and you say no, there is no solution. Either he has to take it, or I have to take it. One person has to take the hit. I said, look, I'll give you $1 million if you get me a win-win solution. Get creative. Get me a win-win, meaning both of you get something good out of this, then you both get $1 million half piece. I bet you'll find a solution. You're gonna find a way to get a win-win. Find a middle ground. Find something they will agree.
I think the $1 million that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of the devil, Jamil's here.
He's not the devil.
Okay, sorry, you're not a devil, bro. Anyways, so basically,
that's the saying.
Yeah. So you have to find something.
Yeah.
Okay? Because I guess the $1 million that you're talking about here is that you got to save the relationship.
Yes.
The relationship is more important than the argument.
Yes, because this is not the only thing you're gonna argue about. There will be more things will come in that, whether it be at work, whether it be at home, there more things will come in your relationship, in your group, in your team. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. You got anything else?
That's it for tonight.
I think we've been going on for long enough.
Yeah, we're at it for almost 40 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Almost 40 minutes. Yeah.
So it's been a while. Guys, we're gonna end up the show. If you stuck with us from the very beginning, thank you. Okay, really appreciate your time with us.
We appreciate the love, we appreciate the support, and keep on sharing the show even after this. If you're watching this, as a replay, we hope that we can be of some service and benefit to you, and make your life, your career, your relationship just a little bit better.
Yeah. Okay. So guys, we're gonna end it off. Again, thank you so much for joining us. Join us next week. And I'll see you guys
Monday 10 p.m.
Yeah, Monday night 10 p.m. Okay, I'll see you guys next week.
All right, good night.
Good night.